Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." Rather than concerning yourself with the external universe and other people's lives, the key is to examine and refine your own judgments, emotions, and ethical choices. This is what leads to tranquility. He also stated, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." When you find yourself upset about someone else's behavior, recognize that it is your perspective that is causing the distress, not their actions themselves. Welcome back to our channel. Today we delve into next 4 Stoic principle of Focus on Yourself, Not Others series. If you don't watch first video of this series, video link available in pin comment and in description, so go and check it. And if you visit our channel first time, don't forget to like the video, drop your thoughts in comments, share with others, and subscribe our channel for more valuable contents. One of the core principles of Stoicism is to focus on what is within your control and not worry about what is outside your control. You cannot control the thoughts, opinions, or actions of others, only your own mind and choices. By fixating on what others are doing, you expend energy on things you cannot change. The Stoics advocated cultivating self-sufficiency and not depending too much on the opinions and validations of others. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Very little is needed for everything to be unfolding as it should." By turning your focus inward and living with virtue, you avoid chasing external rewards. In essence, by concentrating on your own reasoned principles, emotional equanimity, and conduct, you retain your agency and avoid disturbances. The behavior of others is ultimately beyond your control. The Stoic path is one of self-awareness, self-improvement, and serene acceptance. Clarifying internal priorities. In our demand-filled modern world, it's all too easy to lose sight of our innermost priorities and values. We get swept up in the currents of work responsibilities, family obligations, social pressures, and the nagging need to constantly be productive and accomplish more. All the while, the ancient Stoic philosophers advocated a radically different paradigm, one of clearly defining our guiding virtues and reasoned principles to serve as an unwavering lodestar. Let's explore how the Stoics can inspire us to regain clarity on what matters most. The Stoics recognized that most of what leads to distress, anger, and anxiety arises from people fixating on and trying to control what resides in the outer circle of externals. This is a source of constant dissatisfaction. Instead, they counseled focusing our efforts solely on optimizing our inner life, strengthening our rational faculties, aligning with core virtues, and behaving with intentional integrity. This is our true focus of control. With this controlling perspective established, the next step is clarifying the specific virtues and philosophical tenets that will serve as guiding lights. For the Stoics, the cardinal virtues were wisdom, cultivating rational judgment and continual truth-seeking; justice, adhering to moral rightness in our treatment of others; courage, fortitude in standing up for our principles; temperance, moderation, self-discipline, and impulse control. They aimed to continuously refine their character in alignment with these virtues through rigorous self-examination, journaling, and commitment to service. With our sphere of control and core virtues defined, we can then prioritize specific practices to continually realign ourselves and remain anchored in what matters most. This could include journaling to process thoughts, emotions, meditating to strengthen mindfulness, reading philosophy to fortify our guiding principles, going on solitary walks to gain perspective, or reflecting on our actions to ensure ethical integrity. The Stoics were fastidious about building these self-actualizing activities into their daily routine as a grounding force amidst life's turbulence and trivialities. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Pass through this little space of time conformably to nature and end the journey in contentment, by maintaining the divine part tranquil." While our modern world burdens us with infinite competing demands and potential distractions, the timeless Stoic path is one of radical intentionality. By clearly delineating our sphere of influence, defining our inviolable virtues, and building supportive practices into our daily rhythm, we steadily cultivate an unshakable internal compass to navigate any storm. As Marcus Aurelius reminded, none of these anxieties need to distract you. All is tranquil for him whose mind is undivided. May we each find contentment in clarifying and recommitting to our innermost priorities. Embracing inner growth, inspired by Stoic philosophy. In our modern world, we are constantly bombarded with messages that achieving happiness and fulfillment stems from external pursuits, getting more likes, shares, and followers online, acquiring fancier possessions and status symbols, or hitting certain career and life milestones. Yet the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a profoundly different perspective, one that true growth and eudaimonia, or human flourishing, can only be found by turning our gaze inward and embracing a committed path of ongoing introspection, self-improvement, and virtuous living. As the Roman emperor and Stoic practitioner Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "No one can obstruct my obedience to reason and the path of truth." So how did the Stoics embrace this inner path of perpetual growth? Through building key introspective practices into their daily rhythms as anchoring rituals. This included journaling and reflecting in a systematic way each morning and night. The Stoics would meticulously examine their judgments, accounts of meetings or circumstances faced, emotional reactions, and intended versus actual behavior. They would also make time for solitary mindful activities like gardening, going on walks in nature while deep in contemplation, or simply sitting and focusing the mind through meditative practices. These served to continually sharpen self-awareness and presence. The aim was to continually identify areas for improvement, while reinforcing philosophical principles that would strengthen virtues like integrity, humility, courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. For example, let's say a normally level-headed person had an angry outburst directed at a loved one over a minor perceived slight. In their nightly journal reflection, they could examine the underlying beliefs and emotional triggers that led to the outburst, question whether their reaction was virtuous and in keeping with their reasoned principles, thoughtfully decide on a more measured, appropriate way to address the situation, commit to being more mindful of potential future triggers. Or if someone found themselves jealous of a peer's career accomplishments and material possessions. Their Stoic self-examination may reveal these feelings stem from an unsound attachment to status, externals, rather than virtuous living. Envy and resentment are toxic emotional indulgences blocking their tranquility. True fulfillment comes from focusing their efforts inward on intentional growth. In each case, the process allows for accountability and a rededication to living with maximal wisdom, humility, and ethical integrity on an ongoing basis. While the endless streams of social media and our broader culture continually beckon us outward with fleeting illusions of happiness and success, the transcendent teachings of Stoicism reveal the path inward as the sole source of lasting eudaimonia. By diligently turning our efforts toward intentional self-examination, refinement of our beliefs, and cultivation of cardinal virtues like courage, integrity, and ethical reasoning, we continually orient ourselves toward what genuinely matters most. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Make yourself an example of rational composure. In doing so, we unlock profound inner growth, fortitude, and unshakable tranquility amidst any external turbulence." Cultivating self-awareness from a Stoic philosophy. In demand-filled modern world, it's all too easy to move through life on autopilot, mindlessly reacting to circumstances rather than living with intentionality. We get swept up in the currents of work, obligations, and the omnipresent digital noise, constantly competing for our attention. Yet, the ancient philosophers of Stoicism placed great emphasis on the paramount importance of rigorously cultivating self-awareness as the very bedrock of ethical living and tranquility. Let's explore their invaluable teachings on this core principle. As the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Take full account of what you have actually seen. Do not be swept along street with the dead-end mob, moving thoughtlessly in the same direction." The Stoics realized that most people simply react impulsively, based on unexamined beliefs, misguided perceptions, and conditioned patterns. They live with clouded judgment, buffeted about by strong unharnessed emotions and the tides of society. Aurelius also advocated, "Cast away from you opinion, and you are saved. Who then remains to conform to conventions, either of others or your own?" To the Stoics, genuine self-knowledge and awareness allows us to cut through the noise of flawed preconceptions and external pressures to see reality as it is. From that awakened state, we can live consciously according to truth and reason. So how did the Stoics systematically cultivate this foundational self-awareness? By integrating key introspective practices into their daily rhythms as grounding rituals. This included journaling every morning and night to examine their judgments, accounts, emotional reactions, and alignment between intentions and actions. They would rigorously question the sources of their perceptions and beliefs. Periods of mindful meditation and contemplation were also essential. The Stoics would sit in purposeful stillness, turning their attention inward to inspect their mental and emotional patterns with impartiality. Or they may go for solitary walks in nature to quiet the mind and see with elevated clarity. The goal was to continually sharpen self-mastery by illuminating the areas where flawed assumptions and lack of awareness were creating undue suffering. and ethical lapses. With that insight, they could realign their mind and conduct with reasoned virtue. For instance, if we find ourselves swept up in road rage after someone cuts us off in traffic, self-awareness allows us to recognize the unconscious emotional reaction taking hold, question the validity of our angry perceptions and inflammatory thoughts. With conscious intentionality, choose to let go and respond with restraint. Or if we frequently find ourselves feeling anxious or despondent, introspection may reveal we are unconsciously fixating on externals outside our control. Our expectations and beliefs about what we require are flawed. Once aware of this pattern, we can rewire our mindset. The Stoics likened self-awareness to holding up a mirror. It reveals our true state, so we can objectively audit our judgments, emotions, and actions for misalignments from our core virtues and philosophies. Only then can we course correct with clear pragmatism. In a world inundated with endless distractions and influences toward heedless living, the ancient Stoics' emphatic call to cultivate self-awareness through steadfast introspection is a timeless antidote. As Marcus Aurelius reminded, no great thing is created suddenly. There must be time. To give every man your ear is against nature's law. By dedicating ourselves to rigorous journaling, mindful practices, and continually questioning our beliefs and impulses, we elevate ourselves to live in alignment with universal truth and ethical integrity each day. Self-awareness is the pole star that allows unshakable tranquility, intentional growth, and a life well lived to flourish. The choice to awaken is ours alone. Letting go of comparison, inspired by Stoic philosophy. In our modern world, dominated by social media and relentless societal pressures, it's remarkably easy to fall into the trap of constant comparison. We endlessly measure our looks, wealth, accomplishments, and life situation against the curated imagery others present. This unhealthy fixation on benchmarking ourselves against others breeds anxiety, resentment, and a pervasive sense that we are lacking. Yet the ancient Stoic philosophers advocated a radically different paradigm, one of letting go of comparisons completely to cultivate unshakable inner peace. As the Roman emperor and influential Stoic Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, by getting rid of self-will, we rid ourselves of personal misery. I have often marveled how men love to make life a perpetual struggle. The Stoics recognized that most of the dissatisfaction, angst, and social discord stemmed from people's fundamental inability to be at ease with themselves and their circumstances. Instead, they exhaust themselves in endless pursuits of external rewards and admiration. Marcus Aurelius also said, "Objective judgment, for now at least, is given you by your reason. So make use of it and avoid trivialities until you enter upon the serener life." The philosophy held that true freedom and genuine happiness could only be uncovered by looking inward rather than outward, realigning one's perspective through reasoned self-determination rather than blown about by societal conventions. Engaging in persistent comparison to others is ultimately a fruitless and unfulfilling endeavor. As the Greek philosopher Plutarch wrote, "He who undervalues himself is worse than destitute." For example, when we obsess over someone else's fancier car or bigger home, We blind ourselves to the simple fact that accumulating possessions provides no lasting nourishment for the soul. Those external trappings provide a fleeting high, while inhibiting our ability to be fully present. Or when we lament that our career accomplishments pale in comparison to a peer, we fail to see that their journey and circumstances are radically different than our own. The Stoics would remind us that, as Plutarch said, by changing nothing outward, we create a new universe. So if relentless comparison is both futile and obstructive to our tranquility, how can we free ourselves from this limited mindset? The Stoics would prescribe turning our energies fully inward through practices like journaling to process thoughts and emotional reactions, meditating to sharpen self-awareness and presence, contemplation in solitude and nature to gain perspective, rigorous self-examination to reorient around core virtues. By continually refining our rational faculties while shedding externally imposed belief systems, we steadily cultivate an unwavering appreciation for life's simple joys and our innate wholeness beyond societal metrics. As Marcus Aurelius said, it is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. When we relinquish comparisons, we release ourselves from self-created miseries and hostilities. In a world that inundates us with pressures to relentlessly measure our self-worth through the filters of comparison, the timeless insights of Stoicism teach us there is another way. By diligently practicing self-awareness, aligning with our core virtues, and refraining from judging our inherent enoughness, we open ourselves to profound inner freedom, resilience, and contentment. As the philosopher Seneca said, "No person is free who is in command of anyone else." May we each find the liberation in stripping away needless comparisons, to live authentically in our own serene universe. So while the distracting siren call of other people's lives is everywhere in our modern world, the path of the ancient Stoics offers a grounding alternative, one of self-mastery, fortitude, and peace of mind. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Take care of your own inner landscape first, and you'll be better equipped to navigate the external world with wisdom. Thanks for watching. If this video valuable for you, so don't forget to like the video, drop your thoughts in comments, share it with others, and subscribe our channel for more valuable contents. Until next time, stay stoic, take care.